Hi, my name is Ryan. In the last year, I went from looking like this to this. I lost 65 pounds in the course of 365 days. And today I'm going to share with you my 5 tips that I've used to be able to lose the weight and to be able to lose more weight in the future and keep it off. So let's get started. First tip, track your macros. This is going to be the tip that's going to be the greatest amount of effort. However, this is going to be the tip that is going to be the greatest amount of return on investment. So it's my number 1. Track your macros. Now, what are macros? Really quickly, macros are your macronutrients. That is the grams of protein, your grams of fat, and your grams of carbohydrates that you're eating. Okay? With that out of the way, weight is only lost in a caloric deficit. There is no such thing as beating thermodynamics. Energy into the system versus energy expended by the system. If there's leftover energy from what's going in, then you're going to gain weight. If there's less energy going in than there is going out, you're going to lose weight. Simple as that. So, the first thing I'm going to say is that for beginners, a good rule of thumb is you're going to want to subtract 500 calories from your maintenance calories. Now, how do we find our maintenance calories? A great way to do that is through using the Harris-Benedict BMR calculator. The formula for that is on your screen. For men and women, it's a different calculator. However, input your own values, and you can find roughly what your maintenance calories are. If you want to make that a little bit easier, in the description there is a link to a Google Doc that has that formula already put into it, as well as a few different variables that you can adjust depending on your daily activity level. That is in the link in the description of this video. That Google Doc is from Ryan Humiston. The way that you're going to use it is you're going to want to create a copy, and then you can edit that copy. You cannot edit the original document. Now, some of you may be able to use an app for this, for tracking your macros. I personally use the RP Diet Coach app. This is a paid app. I am not sponsored by them, and it is about $100 a year to use the app. I think it's a fantastic service. It makes tracking my macros very, very simple. I tell it if I want to maintain, if I want to cut, or if I want to bulk. I tell it my height, my weight, my age, my activity level. I input days that I work out, how long I work out for, and it gives me how many calories to eat in the day. It breaks it down into how many grams of protein, fats, and carbs. Now, with your macros, the most important thing that you do is you want to select an amount of protein that's appropriate for you. We'll get a little bit more into that on the next slide. But in adjusting your macros for getting that caloric deficit, you'll then play with your fats and your carbs. So if you see that you're not losing weight week by week, lower down the amount of carbs that you're eating. Do not touch your protein. Now, where does a caloric deficit come from? A caloric deficit comes from 3 different places. The first and most important is that it comes from the kitchen. It comes from what you're eating. The second place is from daily movement. That's where you get a lot of your calories burnt, is from daily movement and daily processes that are happening within your body without you even needing for them to happen. Breathing, your heart beating, your organs working, your brain thinking, all of that's burning calories, as well as your small movements, your twitching, you're moving around your arms, you're walking. For example, I'm walking right now. You might have noticed that I'm bouncing up and down a little bit. I have a walking pad that I use because I work from home. I have a standing desk. In order for me to get my 10,000 steps in a day, what I use is a walking pad. It helps me get to that goal. Now, the last bit where we get caloric deficit from, and this is what a lot of people overestimate, is from exercise. You burn more calories from your daily movement than you do from your dedicated exercise. So a lot of people think, oh, it's time for me to lose weight. I need to go start running. I need to go start doing cardio. Now, we'll get into that in a future slide. However, I'll say that most people vastly overestimate how good cardio is for them in terms of getting a deficit. So moving on, tip number 1, tracking your macros. Tip number 2, dieting tips. Potatoes, I've found, are the absolute king. So, first thing that we'll talk about here is we'll talk about how much protein you need to get in a day. A basic adage for protein is a gram of protein per gram of body weight. For all intents and purposes, for what I do for when I'm losing weight is I do a gram of protein per pound that I'm trying to get to. So I'm currently 185 pounds. In my next cut, I'll try to get to 175 pounds. I will be eating 175 grams of protein per day throughout that 8-week cut process. Now, the jury's still out as to how much protein that you're supposed to be eating for proper gains within the gym. Some studies have said that you can go down to a gram per pound of lean body weight. Some studies have suggested you can go up to 1.2 or 1.3 grams per pound of weight. If you want to play it safe and you want to make sure that you're getting the right amount of protein, I'd say that you should just go for 1 gram per pound of your current body weight. Now, protein sources. You want to stick to lean protein sources. That means cuts that aren't too fatty, so that way you don't have to worry about the fat content of what you're eating. So things like chicken, turkey, fish. There are some fattier fishes, I understand. However, it's still a good protein source for you to be able to get. I personally really like pork tenderloin. I can get a really cheap cut of it at my grocery store. Lean beef, such as 93.7 is great. You can go for a little fattier beef if you want some more fat in your diet. I get 93.7. Now, fattier cuts are fine, but like I said, you only have to really be careful with how much fat you're consuming. Now, there's nothing wrong with fat. Fats are necessary. If we don't have fats, then we die or we feel horrible, we get hormone imbalances, and it just doesn't work out very well. So you still need to be eating fats. I'll say anecdotally, I don't track how much fat that I eat. I believe that I'm in a pretty low-fat diet. The only way that I really get fats are from the fats that are in the meat that I'm eating. So if I am eating ground beef, I am getting a pretty decent amount of fat throughout the day if I'm eating all just ground beef throughout the day. But when I'm eating things like chicken or pork or turkey or whatever, where it's a really low fat cut of meat, I will think that I'm getting my fats from the oils that I cook with. So I cook with avocado oil and olive oil, or with butter. So I'm consuming those oils that I'm cooking with. And I don't really track those. It's kind of hard to track how much oil is on, is on your little vegetable, is on your potato. So I let that kind of just be. And I really focus in on how many grams of carbs and how many grams of protein am I eating per meal. And I kind of just let fat just flow with whatever value it is. I don't care all too much. Now, with your carbohydrate source, I have personally found that potatoes are an absolute cheat code. So on the screen here, I have the nutrition facts for 100 grams of sweet potato. So we have a negligible amount of fat that's in a sweet potato. The total carbohydrates is we have 21 grams of carbs with 3 grams of fiber. If you don't know, you don't digest the fiber that goes straight through you. So you can take 3.3 grams out of the total carbohydrate value. And then we have 2 grams of protein. So you can eat volume-wise a very large amount of potato as compared to other carbohydrates like bread or rice, especially. Now, if you think of, okay, bodybuilders, what do bodybuilders eat? Well, chicken, rice, and veggies, right? That's the basic. However, challenge your way of thinking and look at the macros of rice compared to the macros of potatoes, of sweet potatoes, of purple potatoes, any of them, really. And you can see that the amount of volume that you get out of eating potatoes compared to rice is insane. That is 100% my number one dieting tip, is just cut out rice and cut out bread and swap it for potatoes. That's it. Now, last couple of things here for dieting tips is get your veggies in. Get your veggies, get your berries in. You can fill up a lot of your plate with a really large amount of volume of vegetables. I love broccoli and cauliflower and spinach and anything leafy really. if I'm really in the cut pretty bad, I'll be getting just heads of iceberg lettuce because there's barely any calories in that. So I can have, 200 grams of lettuce and that'll count as like 5 grams of carbs. So I can just get a lot of volume out of that. But that's if you're really struggling. I wouldn't recommend going off the bat like that. So the last one here is alcohol. Now that one's a little bit of a hard one. So a lot of people have social obligations. They're out with friends, they're out with loved ones, they, are at a dinner and they want to get a drink. And I really need to emphasize challenging yourself to try to cut out alcohol as much as you can. Now, I'm not saying don't live your life. You can still have a couple of cheat days here and there, birthdays, big events, but the weekly or a few times a week alcohol at the end of the day, coming home and having a glass of wine or a beer or whatever with dinner, it's gonna, over time, it's gonna compound and it's gonna impact you in very negative ways. Really, I'm just saying try to cut out alcohol in any ways that are really seen as not necessary. For me personally, I might go a little bit more extreme than some people. For example, when I was at my New Year's party this last few weeks ago, I was walking around with a red Solo cup filled with water in it because I didn't want to look like I wasn't drinking to everybody else. So that way I didn't have people coming up to me being like, oh, hey, why are you not drinking? They thought that I was. I just had water in it. Now, that's a little psychology hack for people who are in their 20s, like myself, who are going out and doing things with their friends. They don't want to have their friends see kind of pressuring you to drink. Doesn't sound good, but it's generally what people do. So, moving on. So we've gone over track your macros. We've gone over my dieting tips. Number 3, lifting weights. Now, lifting weights is extremely important. Any sort of resistance training, this could be replaced with sports if you are an athlete, if there's a sport that you play in particular, if, whatever physical activity that you do, as long as it's something resistance-based. So a caloric deficit without strength training means that you are also losing muscle. So let me say that again in a different way. If you're eating less calories than maintenance, and you're not giving your body a reason to keep your muscles, your body is going to eat away at your muscles at a rate much higher than it would without strength training. With strength training, your body will say, oh, I need these. These muscles keep getting broken down. I need to keep them. I need to make sure that they're growing, if at all possible. It's pretty hard to grow muscles in a caloric deficit. However, if you're an absolute beginner in the gym, it can be done. You can both lose weight and grow muscle at the same time. It's a fantastic thing being a brand new lifter. I'm very envious of people who start lifting, they see really fast gains. It's a phenomenal thing. So, what do I recommend? 3 days a week minimum in the gym, up to 6 days a week. Anything in between is fantastic. You need to make sure that you have rest days planned into your split. So for me, what I do is I do 3 days on, 1 day off, and I do a PPL split. So what is a PPL? That is push-pull legs. So pushing exercises, that's chest and triceps, where you're pushing the weight away from you. Pulling is back and biceps, where you're pulling the weight towards you. And then legs are, your legs. Now, working out, what a lot of people do when they're trying to lose weight, as I mentioned before, is cardio. I need to lose weight, I need to start running, I need to do yada, 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 yada. Well, if you actually look at the numbers for the cardio that you're doing compared to the amount of calories that you're burning, it's not great. You can do a lot of cardio and you can burn a lot of calories, but you have to be doing that cardio for a very long time. So typical zone 2 cardio, you'll get somewhere around, after 30 minutes of cardio, you might be around 200-ish calories burned. That's 30 minutes for 200 calories. That's nowhere even close to a meal. So cardio is great. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying don't overemphasize its importance. It's really only something that you should do to be able to kind of extend your caloric deficit a little bit more. So if you're eating at a negative 300 calories from your maintenance, and then you do 30 minutes of cardio on the cardio bike or on an incline treadmill or whatever it is to get another 200 calories burned, there you go. You're at negative 500 calories for the day. It's a great way to be able to round out your caloric deficit to get it to where you want it to be. The only thing that I'm going to say about cardio is if you are doing it, try to separate it from your weight training sessions. So that either means waking up in the morning and doing cardio and then weight training later on in the day, or if you're going to do it around the time that you lift, make sure that it's going to be after you lift weights. The reason that I say that is because if you do your cardio before you lift weights, what you're going to do is you're going to make yourself weaker going into that weight training session, so your gains are going to be reduced. It's the only thing. Don't do heavy cardio, or really just cardio, before you weight train. Now, like a little walking warm-up, like 10 minutes walking like I am right now, it's fine. It doesn't matter. But don't go run. Okay. Track your macros, eat potatoes, lift weights. Fourth, get good sleep. Missing out on good sleep is wasting all of the effort that you're putting in. Now, you need to be getting 79 hours of sleep a night. I know the adage before was 6 to 8, but that's just not enough. I get 9 hours of sleep a night. I feel great. I can think clearly. I never realized how horribly I was sleeping before I started really taking my sleep seriously. And a lot of people are living day to day and not realizing that they suck at sleep, which is something that you don't realize until you start getting good sleep. So weight loss happens while you sleep. Muscle building happens while you sleep. And what you need to do in order to get good sleep is you need to be able to create a good sleep atmosphere and a good pre-bedtime routine. So what is a routine? A routine would be things like turning off your electronics an hour before bed so you're not getting the blue light in your eyes. You're allowing your brain to kind of calm down. And then a good sleep atmosphere would be things like having a totally dark room. So I use blackout curtains. Having white noise when you sleep. So I use a box fan that's blowing cool air on me and also acting as white noise. And then having a cold room. So I kill two birds with one stone with just having the box fan on my nightstand blowing air on me. Along with getting good sleep, people think of sleep aiding supplements. A lot of people will take melatonin. I'm not a fan of melatonin. The reason why is because as you take melatonin, it reduces your body's natural output of the melatonin that it creates. So you're momentarily aiding in your sleep, but over the long term, you're kind of killing your ability to sleep without taking melatonin. Also, the only time I ever took melatonin, I got like a really nasty headache, didn't really fall asleep from it, didn't like it, never took it again, whatever. What I do take is I do like to take ashwagandha, so 600 milligrams of ashwagandha. What that does is it lowers your cortisol, and your cortisol goes through a natural cycle every day. As you wake up, your cortisol spikes, and cortisol is your stress hormone. So it is a natural and healthy thing for your cortisol to go through its cycle every day. It's necessary for your body. So in the morning it spikes, and at the end of the day, it's at its valley. So I take ashwagandha at the end of the day, after I'm done with my workout, as I'm eating my last meal, so 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, 600 milligrams of ashwagandha, just in like these little pills you can get. You can buy it from Walgreens or off Amazon or whatever. And it just helps my cortisol go down. And personally, I've spent a lot of nights where I'm laying in bed just thinking, going through fake scenarios. And since it lowers your cortisol, it lowers that stress hormone, makes you less stressed, I found myself, I don't really lay in bed just thinking anymore like I used to. I just go to sleep. It's been, like, honest to God, it's been kind of a game changer. Again, I'm not sponsored by anybody. The ashwagandha that I've been taking is just a random one off of Amazon. The other sleep supplement that I got recently was the Santa Cruz Paleo Deep Sleep Caps. So I got this one actually by accident. I ordered a different product off of Amazon, and I got these deep sleep caps in the mail. So I wrote a complaint and said, hey, this is not what I ordered. Amazon got me my money back, so I got a free bottle of deep sleep caps. I've been taking those for the last few nights, and it's not melatonin that's in them. It's a few different herbs that I've kind of looked up how they work. Not entirely sure what's going on with it. Whatever. I take that stuff. I take one capsule of it 30 minutes before bed, and after 30 minutes, I am like tired. I am ready to pass out. It's cool. I like pass out really quick when I take that. So, in review, macro tracking, eat potatoes, lift weights, get good sleep. What's number 5? What's the last thing on the list? Track your progress. And this is the fun one. So, track your progress literally means every morning, wake up, go to the bathroom, weigh yourself on the scale. Write that down. Put it in your notes app. If you're using a dieting app like yourself or like myself, it'll ask you to put in your weight every morning. So I do that every weekday, put my weight into the app so that way I can track. And then what you can do is you can monitor how your weight is adjusting and if you need to adjust the amount of calories that you're eating. Another thing you can do, which would be a lot of fun, I didn't personally do, is take a starting picture of yourself, shirtless in the mirror, whatever, or in a certain pose or in certain clothes or whatever. And then as you go through the process, 6 months down the line, a year down the line, wear the same thing, take the same photo, and just, you can see how different your body is. For me, at the start of this video, I showed you 2 photos of myself from my New Year's parties. One going into 2024, one going into 2025. And it was a 65-pound difference between myself 1 year apart. Taking photos of yourself or seeing photos from other people as you're at events is going to be a lot of fun. So the last thing that I'll say is that I just wish you good luck on your journey with your weight loss or with however you want to change your body. These are the things that I did personally that really helped me. And I don't think that any of this is really groundbreaking. It's just proof of concept that it really is that simple. It just takes some effort. And there's nothing worth doing in life that doesn't take effort. So I wish you the best of luck. I really do. I hope that you can achieve what you want to achieve. I'm still working on myself. I still have weight to lose. I still have goals I need to get to. I just hope that I'm going to help you be able to get to what you want. I hope that we can get there together. Now, if you found this video helpful in any sort of way, I really recommend that you support the channel by checking out alterironclub.com. It's my personal brand where we make really high quality activewear. We are a Milwaukee, Wisconsin company. A lot of our pieces say Milwaukee, Wisconsin on them. We're very proud to be from Milwaukee. We're a local community member. We are a small business. I do hope that you found this video helpful. I hope that you check us out. Again, good luck. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.